Rebecca. Is there any last thought that either we haven't touched on that you think is just particularly important closing thought to leave people with? Or is there a point that you'd really like to magnify that was made earlier today? Love that closing words of wisdom for everybody today. Why don't we go right down the line here?
It's been said before, but it's all about relationships. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Be patient, but be persistent.
I have the feeling that we didn't properly answer your question about sustainability. We talked about sustaining a partnership with a funder. But the truth is, you need a certain amount of money. You're not going to keep getting it from the same place. One of the things that our foundation likes to look at is whose skin is in the game. If you're at a land-grant university, what are they putting in? Are they lowering their overhead charges? Are they providing, things like this? Are there ways that you can raise money from individuals or from actual earned income? How can you diversify? And if Ron Ottinger, my executive director, were here, he's a master at thinking about how policies can be changed so that you can tap into existing governmental and school streams of 21st century skills, 21st century communities money, and I don't know what else, Title I monies. I think you have to think very strategically about what are the different kinds of funding streams that you can look to over the long run.
The only thing I would add is to focus on building the relationship, and in many ways that you can think about doing that, including your partner in activities that you're doing, inviting them to see the students in their projects, asking them to be judges in the projects, asking them to participate in the things that you're doing, and then finding ways that you can come to their board of directors or their leadership and kind of give them an update. Would it be okay if we came over there and showed you some of the things that we're working on? Keep that relationship going and keep feeding it. I don't think there's ever enough, after you've established that relationship, enough ways that you can show your appreciation and show how that project or that investment is working. I think that's one of the things that we're going to be always wondering is, are we investing properly here? And that feedback is what's going to really help.
It's a challenge at this point to think of something new, but you bring incredible strength to the table. I mean, you have resources that are rich from cradle to practically grave, and I think that your former 4-Hers will speak highly of that within your company. You won't know who they are. Let me tell you, I didn't know my boss was a 4-Her until we came here for a meeting, right, Jill? And I think that talks to the holistic approach we talked about earlier, that you're really springboarding into the next generation and you're really being innovative. And I think we need to be innovative to engineer the next generation of the workforce. So just keep going. You're doing great things, and thank you.
Okay, so I have the hardest job now, to add something new. And I'll come back to something we've touched on a number of times. Play to your strengths, and one of your strengths that's, if not unique, really, really rare, is that footprint that you have. So think about how do you not only offer that footprint, but benefit from it yourselves. Make sure that you're taking best practices, taking lessons learned from one part of your organization into another so that you're all learning and benefiting, and make sure that that's an integral part of what your proposals are and what your new ideas are, and that you kind of lead with that right up front as you're talking to funders.